Hi, my name is Tanya, and I am going to be doing this video on Google Meet. This is going to be part of a series of fundamental tools that you can utilize for your blended learning or remote classroom. I'm only going to cover the basics of this tool. There will be other playlists available in this NWOET channel for you to learn a little bit more about Google Meet. We're hoping to have a couple more series in regards to how to organize your meeting, how to plan your meeting, how to have an effective meeting using additional tools. This one is just going to be on the basics. Google Meet is a video conferencing tool. If you want to think of it in its basic sense, you can create a meeting, invite someone to that meeting, and have a meeting with them virtually. So you get to see their face, hear their voice, and you can even change that based on preferences. If someone wants to call in with a phone, they can do that based on the audio options. If you want someone to watch a meeting, you can do that with a live stream option. So I'm going to show you all of those things within Google Meet. It is comparable to Zoom, maybe a Skype. There are some differences and limitations to all of those programs, but hopefully through this basic portion, you're going to understand basically how to create a video conference using Google Meet, and then additional playlists within this series. You're going to be able to learn how to implement other tools to create a wonderful experience in a meeting and structure it in a way that's going to be beneficial for your classroom. So I'm going to start out by talking about the creation of a meeting, where you can do that. There's 3 ways that I'm going to show you. I'm guessing there's going to be one way that you're going to do that. The other thing that I'm going to do is talk about how the ease of joining a meeting from all of those perspectives are. And then talking about there is an option that you can utilize within this to meet without students. And I will talk a little bit about that. I will show you all of the buttons, the interface, how it works, how you present things, how you chat, how you can mute and use your settings to specify recording things and camera options. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the meeting with students live, that there are some instructional ways that you can effectively conduct this meeting. I'm not going to get into detail, but then I'm going to show you what happens with those files after you record within Google Meet, and how you can possibly use that within your Google Classroom. So the way that you generate a link for a meeting in Google Meet, there's 3 ways of doing it, but the one way that I want to show you now is through your calendar. So if I'm selecting a date to meet with someone, I can click on that area of my calendar in my Google Calendar and create an event. I also can click the Create button over here, and it will open the same window. It just won't be specified on a certain point that I clicked on. So the thing that I'm going to do is more options. The reason I want to do more options is because I want to add the details in, review them over, make sure that they're correct, and then save it. So I don't want to have that limited option. So I'm going to show you all the options that you have. So if I'm creating a meeting with you, so it's always going to be a special meeting with teacher or parent or student, however you want to do that. And I would specify the date and time. The event details, this is the place where you're going to generate the Google Meet link. So I can click on Add Google Meet Conference, and it generates this meeting URL. I click this to expand it. And what I always do is I copy this and I'll send it specifically to someone if they're outside my domain. I also have another way that I can do it that's simpler. I also can have them join via phone number. And then this is kind of a nice addition that I have turned on for our domain. If you cannot see some of these things, it might need to be changed in the settings within your Google Admin Console. So you might want to ask your technology team to help you with that. The live stream is a link that you can give participants, or actually people who want to be an audience, not necessarily need to talk in the meeting or be seen in the meeting, someone who just wants to kind of peep in on the meeting and check it out. I can put all the information in as always, when I'm creating an event, this is just like this is Google Calendar, so I can put all the information in here. Now, the one thing that I use for my Google meeting, I will put attachments in there. Now, if I have invited you to the meeting, you will have those attachments as well. You'll have all this information, and the visibility will also be available to the people I'm sharing this with as well. So if I'm adding information here, it's available to me during the meeting because I am the presenter, I'm the creator of this meeting. Now, if I want to add people to this meeting, I just start typing their name, and all of the people with those 3 letters are going to come up. As soon as I select that person and I hit save, it's going to ask me if I want to send those invitations. I can hit send, and then it will add it to their calendar. Actually, it'll send them an email, and after they verify that they're going, it will add it to their calendar with the Google Meet link within it. So not only is it sending the meeting invite in an email with the link, it's also putting it on their calendar with a link. So after they've created the event, they would be able to see it on their calendar, and it would have the Google Meet link right there that you can join. Now, if you need to create a meeting quickly or without going into the Google Calendar, you can go over to on your new tab, over to your waffle here, your checkerboard, and you can look for Google Meet. So if I click on Meet, it automatically opens up into this area. I can click on a meeting that was earlier this day. I can go to one that I just created, or I can just click here and say join or start a meeting. I can put the title in here, and then when I hit continue, it will allow me to specify some preferences for the meeting and invite people. Give me the meeting details that I could email, or I could just invite them directly through the meeting. So that's a way to do a meeting very quickly and on the fly if needed. The final way that you can access your Google Meet option for creating or generating a meeting link is through your Google Classroom. This is probably the way that you're going to use this with your students. So if I click on one of my courses, it already has the link generated because I've done it for this class. I'm going to go back to my classes. I'm going to try to find one that I didn't do it with. So here you can see in this Google Classroom that it says Meet Link, Generate Meet Link. When I click on that, it has a big old button that says Generate Meet Link. So I'm going to click Generate Meet Link, and it's going to default to visible to students. I can turn that off or turn it on. I'd like it to be visible to students, so if ever they need easy access to that link, it's right there within their Google Classroom. So I'm going to click Save, and then I'm going to show you the other area that it would be in. So not only on my stream page, but it also is available on my classwork page. I could have generated the link through that as well. Now, if I'm creating a meeting, I want to do it within my classwork from the instructional point of view. Yes, the meeting is there, but we want to have as many reminders to the students as possible. So I would probably create an assignment, or I would create it as a material to allow the students to join my meeting as a reminder so that they don't forget. The reason I would do it as an assignment is if through the meeting information, I'm going to expect them to turn something in, or maybe I'm just going to make it worth some points for them to join my meeting. So you could make it an assignment, and then you could grade them later on that. An extended series in our playlist for our YouTube channel is going to explain that more in depth. It's going to talk about planning a meeting, structuring a meeting, managing a meeting. But if I do it as a material, I can put it in here as weekly Google Meet. I could put the agenda in here and what we're going to do. I could add our checklist of things that I want us to do during that meeting, my goals, my objectives, and then I would add the link to my Google Meet for the students to have easy access and a wonderful reminder for it. As soon as I'm done, I would post that. So this is Google Meet. This is the interface that you would see when in a meeting. I have started a meeting. I'm the only one here. It also looks weird because I'm recording with Zoom, the Google Meet interface. So I'm using a meeting tool to record another meeting tool. The reason I'm doing that is so you can see all of the tools. For me to present the Google Meet screen and to show you all of the menu items would be difficult to do. So I am going to just show them to you with another tool. So down here in the bottom left, those are the meeting details. And if I click on that, it'll expand and it'll give me the phone number, the PIN number, and the Meet join. If this is where I put all of my materials that are associated with that meeting. So if I had a video that I wanted to show them, if I had a PowerPoint or a slideshow that I wanted to make available, is access for me. It's those things that I would use. If they were joining the meeting through a calendar, a Google Calendar invite, then they would have access to those through the calendar. Now, this is how you mute your microphone. I'm on a Macintosh, so it gives me the shortcut keys for that. So it's a Command D. This is how I leave the call, and this is how I can turn on and off my camera. The turn on captions will then start doing a speech to text option, giving them captions for this recording or for this meeting. So it can be doing it live. It also can be recording it. I'll talk a little bit that before the ending here. I'm going to turn off the captions. The present now gives you 3 options. If I want to present a tab, I'll click tab. And I don't know if this box is showing up, but there's a box that shows all my tabs, so I can choose which tab I want to do. If I select a window will pop up and it shows me all my windows, and then I can click share. And then the last one is your entire screen. So if I do my entire screen, then it will show all of the things on that screen. The ... in Google always means there's more. So the bottom part is about reporting a problem or abuse or getting some help. So reporting something to Google and getting help from Google. This phone number, so if my microphone stopped working and I needed to have audio, emergency audio for a meeting quickly, I could use my phone for that audio. The settings are really simple. If you're going to be using these video recordings, you want to use the lower resolution so it doesn't take up as much space when you're saving the recording. If I have an external camera that I want to use, I can connect that. Same thing with audio if I have a different microphone. It just shows the options for those. I can also turn on the captions in here, and I can change my view. So if I want to have full screen view of my Google Meet, I can do that. I can also have the layout changed to something other than what it is now. And if there were more people, there'd be that option. So I can look at it tiled as a spotlight sidebar. Right now it's changed to auto detect what I'm doing. And then the top is where you record the meeting. All the way to the top, I have how many participants are in here, and there are none. So this is where I could click on the participant themselves, and they would have options as well. So if I want to have a certain person stay on the whole time, so I'm the presenter, but I want someone else to talk to the group, I can pin them. I also can mute them, and I can remove them from the meeting. And these are controls only by the person who created the meeting. We also can add people if they haven't shown up. So I can click add, and I can add them via call or invite them via my contact list in Google. The chat allows you to communicate with people during your meeting. So if I want to say, do you have that document that I requested, I can send that to the whole group, or I can send that to just an individual if there were more people here. So I'm going to hit enter. Now, the option for this meeting is I could be recording if I wanted to. I'm not recording this meeting, but I'll show you what it's like when I hit record. It's going to ask me if I accept the responsibility of telling everybody that I'm recording, because you want to acknowledge to the people that are in your meeting that they are being recorded. When they know that, then you can use the footage, or they can mute themselves, mute the mic, mute their video, so that they're not part of that meeting. It is recording now, and it made a little bit of a noise for me, letting me know that it was doing that. So that is the interface of Google Meet. The options, I'm going to stop recording here. You have options of recording many ways, but the two ways that I kind of feel are helpful for K-12 instruction, I can have people join me, and I can have a meeting live, teach a lesson live, have materials available for them, and conduct class via virtual video conferencing. I also can use this tool, since it does record, I can use this tool for screencasting, recording, since I can present my screen, since I can share resources or present resources to individuals. I can conduct a lesson without students here, record that, and then make that available to them in their Google Classroom. Okay, now that I've done my Google Meet recording, I can show you where those recordings are saved. Since Google Meet is integrated within Google Tools, Google Suite, G Suite, I can go to my Google Drive. I did that through my checkerboard here. If I go to my Google Drive, then there is a folder called Meet Recordings. When I double click on that Meet Recordings, it shows you all of the videos that I have recorded since I've been using Google Meet. Sometimes I will rename those to fit what I want them to represent, and then I move them to another folder that helps me organize my stuff instead of just totally being in meeting recordings. So the blue files are the text files. They will have all of the chat that happened during that time, so that's being recorded too. It won't be recorded, the chat won't be recorded unless you're recording the entire meeting. But all of these have been placed in here automatically and named whatever I named the meeting within my Google Calendar. So now that I have this, I'm going to go to one of my Google classes and show you how I can have a recording available for students. Remember, I said there's that live meeting that you can have with your students and have a lesson, conduct class live with all the students there. We're going to have an additional video that'll help you understand the structure of that and the way that you should manage a live class with your students, lessons online. But this is a Google Meet that I have recorded with no students there, and I just want to give them a lesson in their classwork. So I can go to classwork, and I can go to create material. And after I create that material, and I can title it Week 1 Lesson Introduction. I'll have some good instructions here. Watch this. And then I'm going to add it from my Google Drive because I know that it is in my drive. It's also in Meet Recording. So this is the recording that I want to use there. This is the one that we just did. But this is the lesson that I want to make available to the students. So all I did was add Google Drive, and then I navigated through my Google Drive to the Meet Recordings, and I added it. Now, when I'm ready, I will put it to a certain topic. I can assign it to multiple classrooms, or I can, in one classroom, give it to individual students to differentiate instruction. I would click Post, and now that Week 1 lesson is posted for the students, and it has my Google Meet recorded lesson that I did when the students were not present. Okay, so that's Google Meet basics. I've explained to you what Google Meet is, all of the ways that you can generate a meeting, all the ways that you can join a meeting, the things that you should probably build for your meeting are going to be done in a different series, but you need to be thinking about, if I conduct a meeting live with students, how am I going to conduct that meeting? How am I going to be organized? How is it going to be structured? What are my expectations for those students? Also, you have to think about Google Meet being used as a recording tool. Since it does have that record function, you can start a meeting with no one there and hit the record button, and now it's recording everything that you do. But again, keep in mind that you cannot record, pause, record, pause. If I record stop and then record again, it's going to give me two separate video files. And then if I record stop again, it's going to give me another video file. So for every time I record stop within that meeting, it's going to give me a separate video file. And all the chat is recorded as well. So if you want to know more than the basics of conducting a meeting in regards to instruction or classroom management online, then you need to reference one of our other playlists that are included on this YouTube channel. If you subscribe, you can get connected to all of our videos that are in this channel, and that'll give you access to whichever videos you need to watch to further your success with education. You can also email me at sanders@nwoet.org anytime that you have some questions, and I'll get back to you as soon as I get that solution for you. So thank you for listening, and we will continue in this series with the next tool that is within your list.